Alrighty, the Wood Elf A team has returned. It's your boy Benvolio here, sending another game for the boys back home. Alright, so I'm playing as the Wood Elves, fighting against a player without a name, who's playing as the Dark Elves. So let's start by taking a look at my army, starting with these, the elite, the Way Watchers, the best archers. I believe the Wood Elves are fielding, and they've got a lot of archers. So 1,000 gold, they're expensive, but they do a lot of work. They're always a good anchor for your army. I've got them perched up here on a nice little hill, which is a great place for them to be. And they are Forest Stalker, armor-piercing missiles, good range, and master ambushers. Don't use them often for ambushing, but they've got great range. I like them for their range and their armor-piercing missiles. They're just able to, if they get a good line of sight on something, they're able to just melt it, especially armored units. They're just really effective. They can also fire while moving, I believe. So they can be running and turn around and shoot as they run, which is really great. If you got multiple groups of them and you got a group of cavalry in your back archery line, and so your archers can just move around and kite and shoot. Like they'll be chasing one group while the other group's shooting at them, like yeah, as they run around. It's pretty effective, and that kind of happens to some extent in this game. So they're the anchor unit, kind of in the center of my back line. Let's take a look. Right behind them directly, I have a group of Dryads, Forest Spirit, Damage Dealer. They have Vanguard deployment. I did not take advantage of that because I'm kind of hiding them behind the hill, using them to plug gaps in the front line. So they're not effective against armored units, but against low tier. Look at that. That one's got 3 eyes. That's pretty cool. But against low tier infantry, they're pretty good. Not going to be super effective against armor, but they're good damage dealers against low tier infantry, which is what they get used for in this battle as well. You will see. So moving on from there, more archers. I've got over here, starting from my left flank, I've got Glade Guard with Hagbane tips. So solid Wood Elf archer units with a poison-tipped arrows. Poison attacks, good range Forest Stalker, so they're good in forested terrain. Don't have that here, but whatever. Their basic stats are still really useful. That poison is going to slow incoming enemy units. We've got here a Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts, so fire-imbued arrows, good against anything that's weak against fire. Forest Stalker and armor piercing, so good against armored units. Give them a bit of range again, and they'll just do massive damage, massive work for you. I think I put a couple chevrons in them, so their stats are slightly better than typical, just because of the chevrons I put in with them. So 2 groups of those with the Starfire, 2 groups of Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts, and 1 group of Glade Guard with the Hagbane Tips. My Lord choice over here, standard Glade Lord, just playing him as a very basic Lord. Got the basic Lord abilities, got him on foot. You could have him mounted on a dragon, but I want to save on gold. I wanted a larger unit number, I guess a wider army, they'd say, and so I went very cheap on the Lord and just put him on foot. And because I went cheap on the Lord, I also got a hero over here, a kind of a sniper hero, a Way Stalker, hybrid weapon specialist, decent in melee and in ranged combat. He's got a great ability called Arrow of Kurnos, which is a good sniping ability. I never seem to get a chance to use it, though. I always seem more focused on the infantry engagement to actually properly use Lord and hero abilities. But he's pretty good. He's just able to sit back and fire, along with the archers providing leadership as well, kind of boosting morale, keeping them in the fight longer. My front line, I've got 4 groups of Eternal Guard with shields. 4 Stalkers shielded, anti-large, charge defense against large foes. They are holding. They are there to hold the line, and that's it. Keep the enemy in place. Keep them off my archers, so my archers can fire into them and melt them slowly. I've got 4 groups of those, just kind of as a solid shield wall, protecting my back line of archers. I think I got a couple, put some chevrons, 1 chevron into most groups. I think there's 1 group with 2 chevrons. I can't remember. Yeah, that group's got the double chevron. Should have kept them in the center, but whatever. Hard to remember all that stuff. So there we go. That's my main army there. All those units. Oh, excuse me. I almost forgot the crazy hippie chicks. How could I forget you, crazy hippie chicks? The war dancers. Shadow dances of Loek is one of their abilities, which gives them better agility, I believe. Because they say like the servants and worshippers of Loek perform many intricate, swirling, lethal dances in his name. I guess that means they've got good agility. You couldn't just say it in the frickin' description, could you? No. Dodge. The highly dexterous unit dodges blades and missiles with ease. Its luck is known to run out quickly when facing magical weapons, however. So dodge is good, except for with magical weapons. It's really good at avoiding attacks. So they're basically really agile, good damage dealers. Anti-infantry, yeah, that's it, anti-infantry. So again, good for the front line. And all those kind of things. I got two groups of them with 2 chevrons in one, this group over here, and 2 chevrons in that, so they're slightly buffed up. Yeah, no, I thought I had 3 chevrons in one. No, I guess not. Yeah, so the word answers, and that's my main army, excuse me. So, and on my flanks, I've got wild riders on each flank. So these are elk riding wood elves. Spears and shields, forest stalker, damage dealer, vanguard, deployment frenzy. I thought they'd have anti-large having spears, but I guess not. But they're, you know, filling that cavalry niche, getting around, charging in, and doing good damage. And again, they've got frenzy, which means as long as their morale is high, they are going to be doing more damage. So I think the trick with these guys is it's going to be really beneficial for me to keep them moving around, which is what I try and do. Don't let them get bogged down and take damage, because then they'll lose their leadership, and their frenzy buffs will go down. So look at them. Look at these guys. They got the crazy masks on, crazy glowing eyes. And they run like deer too. It's really amazing watching them run if you just have time to like sit and watch them run for a bit. So I got 2 groups of them on either flank. Let's take a look. Start taking a look at my enemy's army, these Dark Elves with the purple banners here. So way in the back is sneakily stashed a group of harpies. These winged ladies, crazy winged ladies here. They're very fast vanguard deployment. You can he could pop them in behind my lines because they have vanguard deployment. They're able to fly around. What they're good for is just getting into archers' faces and stopping archers from firing. That's basically all they're good for, in my opinion. They're just to move and obfuscate your artillery or ranged units, stop them from being effective. So he snuckily snuck them in behind me there. Sneaky. He's got a couple group of Dark Riders over here. Vanguard deployed in the same place I Vanguard deployed my Wild Riders on this side. So these Dark Riders are he's got very basic cavalry here. He's going to try and get into my archers with those. Obviously, they're very fast with Vanguard deployment. Again, kind of filling a similar niche as the harpies. He's going to bring those to bear on my archers to distract my archers, so his infantry can crush my infantry, because Wood Elves don't have the best infantry, but Dark Elves have pretty darn good infantry. It's what they're known for. They like murdering people, so that's the Dark Elf thing. So yeah, 2 groups of those. Dark Riders, which he's going to try and get around my flank, right close to my Wild Riders. Going to want to get those out of there immediately. Let's take a look at his front line. He's got, that's starting over here on his, this is his right flank. Bleak Swords, shielded, that's basically it. They're bottom tier Dark Elf infantry. I don't know why he's got swords in the flanks. I would have spears, but whatever. He can do what he can do what he likes. Don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. Yeah, so that's just that. Basic Bleak Swords. Dread Spears, shielded anti-large, charge against defense against large foes. So kind of like a mirror of my Eternal Guard, basically. But my Eternal Guard are going to do a little bit better because I've got buffed their stats a little bit, but these Dread Spears are alright as well. Shielded spear units, so he's got 2 groups of the swords, 2 groups of the spears, and you can see it's mirrored on the other side, on his other flank. He's got 2 groups of the Blackguard of Nagarond. Halberd infantry, armored, armor-piercing, anti-large, so really good against monsters, large units, and they're gonna hold out pretty effectively against basically all of my infantry units. I need to bring my archers to bear on them to be to effectively shut them down, but my archers find other targets in this game. But yeah, they're effective infantry, kind of the top tier Dark Elf infantry. I believe they cost 1,400 gold for each unit. So there's 2 of them. Any chevrons in them? No chevrons in them. Okay, and so that's his front line. His back line, he's got Witch Elves. Anti-infantry, so they're good against, yeah, well, infantry. Self-explanatory. Madness of Cain, which means they're, any unit they're going to attack, they're going to turn crazy, and that unit you're going to lose control of, because they're going to go into frenzy from the Witch Elves' poison, and you're going to lose control of that unit, and they will just attack mindlessly, feeling the Madness of Cain. So that's going to be a negative debuff on my units, but it kind of works to my advantage in that it keeps my infantry in place where I want them to be holding that line, so it wasn't exactly maybe the best choice here, but their anti-infantry aspect is pretty good, because I only have 2 units that are anti-infantry strictly. I have a lot more anti-armor. Yeah, so 4 groups of them. Does he have any chevrons in any of them? He might have chevrons in. No, he doesn't. They're just the basic, not buffed. Okay, so that's 4 in that back line. He's got a War Hydra. The monster. This is a serious threat. Look at the texture. I love the texture. The scales on this thing. Look at it. 5 heads. 5 heads of glory. 5 fire-breathing heads with a fire-breathing attack. Causes terror. So if your units aren't immune to psychology, there's a very good chance this guy will scare them into routing. Scare them away. It's got regeneration. Pull it out of combat. It'll regain hit points. Pretty good. Scaly skin. Gives it effective. Yeah, missile weapons. Ooh, so it's got missile resistance, which is a good choice coming up against the Wood Elves. It doesn't exactly stop it too much though, because well, you'll see anyway. But it's a good choice coming up against the Wood Elves, I guess, with that missile resistance, that scaly skin, able to just punish those my weak infantry if it can come into contact with them. That's the trick, right? Yeah, and that's basically his army, except for, of course, his lord, Morathi, leader of the Cult of Pleasure, which is kind of the name of the army he's got here. She's a wizard, able to cast spells, decent in combat. She's anti-large, so against any monster she's going to be effective. But that anti-large is not so effective here because I didn't bring any large units. I went for a more infantry-based build. But yeah, she's got both offensive spells and also spells to debuff my units. And she's used fairly effectively here, but well, you'll see. You'll see how it all plays out. But those are the armies introduced. Without further ado, let's turn off that info screen and get this battle going. So immediately he's charging. He wants to come into contact. He's charging up my hill. I got myself this good position here on the hill. What I want him to do, just come in, yes, and I will grind you down. Just come in, and I'm going to grind you down with the archers. I'm getting around, get around his main army with my wild riders. Probably going to be forming up in a second as I notice his Dark Riders are going to come in for my left flank. So I'm going to have to form that up, tighten that up. The Harpies haven't moved yet. Okay, am I moving? Yeah, the Dark Riders incoming. Wild Riders getting around their flank. Okay, yeah, and so I'm preparing to face off against his Dark Riders. Trying to close that flank off a bit. He's trying to cast a spell, but look at how quickly Morathi's getting melted by those way Watchers. Oh, and the Eternal Guard and their Starfire Shafts managed to move my Eternal Guard out of the way of that spell. So that was not a good trade. Look at that, just ouch, 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 ouch. Not good, not good, not good. So she's gonna get pulled back very wisely. That's probably not a good move for him. Not a good trade. He didn't make that spell work too well. And now despite the scaly skin, the Hydra is going to take a lot of damage. I want to try and stop that thing before it comes in contact with my infantry. It's going to make a big hole in my line, which is not good. Move the spears back out of position. Not good. The Dryads, though, are going to try and ward off those riders, but the Harpies are coming in on the other side, and it looks like we're about to get the joint. But just before the Hydra can close with the line, it routs. Beautiful. Charging out my Ward Answers to meet the... No, just bringing them up. Okay, and yeah, that's what I'm going to want. Okay, so here we go. Contacting... Oh, no, the Dark Riders came in contact with the Dryads, but they are in the back line. One group slipped through. Witch Elves coming into contact. One group of Bleak Swords also going to filter around the side, but these Witch Elves are going to go into the Eternal Guard. Ooh, that's not going to be good for those Eternal Guard. And the Ward Answers have joined with the Witch Elves. Kind of a double-sorted chick fight. Hippie chicks versus goth chicks fighting for supremacy. Blackguard and Nagaron closing with the Eternal Guard, going to do a nasty bit of damage. Looks like Morathi is casting a debuff on my units. Yes, Soul Blight, reducing their armor and weapon damage. Okay, so yeah, so far so good. The Wild Riders got a nice charge into the Bleak Swords, but now they're charging against the Blackguard and Nagaron, not ideal. Another group of Wild Riders, the Hydra routed, but is going to come back in, but I'm going to bring the Wild Riders in against the Hydra to try and keep them out of combat. A group of Eternal Guards rampaging, but that's good. That's going to kind of hold them in place. The Witch Elves not coming off better against the Ward Answers. Let's see, where is my Waystalker firing into the Witch Elves, I believe. Uh-oh, but group of Witch Elves gotten around. Going to chase off that Waystalker. Uh-oh, not good. But what's going on in the back line? Where are the Dryads? The Dryads are engaged with that group of Bleak Swords that got around, and the Archers as well. So the Archers firing in. Good. Not being able to... He's managed to get those Riders in, which have disrupted the line effectively. The Harpies came in and were repulsed by the Spears, I think, on this flank. Starfire Shafts firing a Blackguard or Nagaron. That's a good target for them because they are armored. Got to try and block out those. Oh, but I got the Starfire Shafts on the Dark Riders now. I'm going to try and get those out of the game. Clean up my back line as quickly as possible because my front line is not going to last forever. This is what he wanted. To some degree, able to tie up my archers so that he can grind through my front line because they're getting got down. It's going good on this flank, but in the center, those Black Guard are going to chew through those Eternal Guard and the Witch Elves as well. So those two groups are probably going to poke through. Witch Elves coming back in. Marathi's still able to cast spells, so. But the back line, I'm managing to fend them off. As soon as I can disengage the archers from this, yeah, the Harpy's getting repulsed again. As soon as my archers are freed up, I'm going to be in a better place, but it's looking a little dodgy here. It's got Marathi floating over, able to cast spells. The War Hydra potentially coming back in here. That's not going to be good unless I bring the Wild Riders to hold up that War Hydra again. I did manage to get a few nice charges. I didn't catch them on camera, unfortunately, but I got a couple nice rear charges into Bleak Swords with the Wild Riders, which is kind of unfortunate. Didn't manage to catch it in this recording. But the Hydra's scared those Wild Riders off. They're quite reduced. Might charge them into the Witch Elves, the Ward Answers. Sent those Witch Elves running. Now my front line has collapsed, but the back is cleaned up. So I'm able to bring those archers to bear fully onto that Blackguard and Nagaron. Great target for all my archers. Gonna just melt them, those Starfire Shafts. The Hydra, though, tougher to deal with. Gonna be this group of Eternal Guards in big trouble. They're gonna be gone. I got the Wild Riders coming in, though. Let's see, they're gonna make a charge into these Blackguard. Ooh, rear charge! Oh my goodness, that was a lot better of a charge than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. Ward Answer's chasing down this Blackguard and Nagaron, but they were getting melted, and yeah, no, they're gonna be gone. Group of Witch Elves still running against these archers, but that's not ideal. Glade Lord and Waystalker just have been having a great time. Not taking any damage, just shooting at everything around them. But Marathi, I think, she's done. She got sniped somehow. I don't know who sniped her, but she got wasted. She's gone. Where is she? I think her body's out here somewhere, if I remember correctly. Yeah, whatever. She's gone, though. She dead. She dead. The War Hydra cleaning out those Eternal Guard. I'm pulling them away, but as soon as I'm going to be able to get those archers to bear, especially the Starfire Shafts on the Hydra, he's weak against fire. That's going to be it. And in fact, I think that's it. As soon as he starts taking some archer fire, he's going to be done. I'm going to be able to melt him. He's never going to get close enough. It's basically my game now. The Dryads chasing down the Witch Elves, and that's going to be a very good engagement for the Dryads. Probably going to cause the Witch Elves to immediately rout. Archer fire coming to the Hydra over there. That's it. That's basically my game. Their Lord's dead. Their army is greatly reduced. I'm going to be able to quickly melt that War Hydra with all this Archer fire with the poison too. Debuffing it, and yeah, that's my game. So yeah, pretty interesting game. That is a good way you can use Wood Elf archery skills and their basic infantry to great effect if you find yourself a nice little hilltop to park yourself on. Let's check out the kill count, shall we? Kill count! Who did the most work? This group of Ward Answers. Oh, I had 3 chevrons in them? That's weird. So this group of Ward Answers, 148 kills. I think that was against the Witch Elves on my left flank that they turned back. So the Witch Elves are all greatly reduced in number. Yeah, all his troops are kind of greatly reduced in number. Well, yeah, I won the battle. That makes sense. So after that group, the next highest killers were the Way Watchers. Not surprising, with those armor-piercing missiles firing in from the back. Just melting anything they came into contact with. Wild Riders then, with 100 kills, that group. They were probably the ones that got a off-camera charge into the Bleak Swords, which was really good, favorable for them. Obviously, you want cavalry charging into swords, not spears. Then 92 with the other Wild Riders. So they were used pretty effectively. I'm happy when I can use cavalry effectively. The Eternal Guard, lowest amount of kills, which is about normal, 19 on that group, but all they were there for was to hold, so that's fine. 74 on the Waystalker, 39 on the Glade Ward. They didn't seem to do much. They were mostly just standing back firing, but still full health. Managed to keep them safe, which is great. He just could not break into my formations. They were too tight, yo. 98 kills on the Dryads. That was pretty good against Bleak Swords that got in, and they got to bring their nasty tree claws to bear on. So yeah, so that worked out quite effectively for me. He only got 3 kills with Marathi. Those spells should have done more. 1 on 17 on the Blackguard and Nagaron. Again, they were expected to be the MVP. The War Hydra should have done a lot more, but I just turned it back in that initial charge. Just managed to make it rout by just hammering it with Archer Fire. So that, I think, was probably that and like the ineffectiveness of Marathi and being able to turn Marathi and the War Hydra back with the archers is basically what saved me. I think if he'd managed to be more effective with Marathi and gotten that War Hydra into my infantry line, that could have gone very differently. Maybe if what he should have done maybe is kept his War Hydra back and then just charged in his infantry, and then once the archers were kind of otherwise engaged and my infantry was otherwise engaged, he could have brought the War Hydra in after. Would have been more effective, but because I managed to turn it back right at the beginning, it didn't punch the hole he needed it to, and things went my way. But yeah, so that's some Wood Elf versus Dark Elf action. It's your boy xBenv0lio versus the nameless Dark Elf player. I hope everybody's having a good summer, and otherwise, keep it real. Keep it real, guys.